The very idea of having narrow specialists for different tasks sounds cool, provided they work together smoothly. Instead of one clear window, we were given a constructor that needs to be built from scratch. The screenshot shows that creating new personas is now available, but this complicates life immensely. If you, as an expert in hardware and AI, get bogged down in the settings, a beginner will simply close the tab after 5 minutes. The main conflict for the video is clearly visible. It is a red warning. You have 11,990 characters written, but the limit was slashed to 4,000. Your advanced attention management protocol simply does not fit into these new boundaries. This is not just a limitation, it is a castration of the agent's logic that you have been building for months. Grok gave some nonsense while trying to justify itself. Its arguments look like weak excuses. Saving money? Supposedly, long instructions load Elon Musk's servers 30% more, which costs millions of dollars a day. The goldfish effect. It is claimed that with a long prompt, the neural network forgets the beginning of the instruction by the middle of the answer. Forced relocation. We are literally being pushed out of one convenient window into an agent system, where a separate bot is responsible for every little thing. Lifehack. In custom instructions, we insert only the command center bootloader, which orders Grok to look for rules in the chat history. We send the rules themselves, even if they are 100,000 characters long in the first message. Grok's memory of 128,000 tokens and more allows it to keep all this in mind without any loss of quality. And we keep everything in a notepad. We copy and paste the prompt into the chat and then pin it. After that, we repeat this process for every new chat. This is certainly not the ideal way, but for now, there are no other options.
Okay, so if you've ever used Grok, you've probably slammed right into a wall. I'm talking about that character limit, the one that cuts your most brilliant prompts right in half. Well, today we are going to absolutely shatter that limit. In this explainer, I'm going to show you a seriously clever method to unlock the real power of this tool.
Does this feel familiar? You spend all this time crafting the absolute perfect, detailed prompt, only for Grok to basically ignore half of it. It is so frustrating, right? But the good news is there's a really powerful way to fix it for good.
All right, let's get down to it. The root of all this frustration is what we're calling the 4,000 character problem. It's a hard limit baked into the system, and it can really get in the way when you're trying to do some sophisticated work. And this right here, this is the magic number, 4,000. Now that might sound like a lot, but trust me, when you're working with complex documents, giving really detailed instructions, or asking for nuanced analysis, you hit this wall way faster than you'd think.
And this is the real kicker. It's not just a minor annoyance. It actively cripples your ability to get the best results. Complex reasoning, in-depth analysis, creative writing that needs a lot of source text. All of it suffers because of this one little cap.
But what if I told you there's an incredibly elegant solution hiding in plain sight, built right into the system? This is where we introduce the 4-agent method. And believe me, it is a total game changer.
Just look at this upgrade. It's massive. Instead of being boxed into a tiny 4,000 character window, we're going to combine the 4 available agent slots to create one giant 16,000 character context window. That is a 4-fold increase, 4 times the detail you can feed it.
So what is this method exactly? Well, it's really just a technique where you stop thinking of the 4 agents as separate things. Instead, you start seeing them as 4 parts of one giant brain. You're basically combining their individual context windows to feed the model one enormous, super detailed prompt. Okay, so how do we actually do it? The strategy is a classic divide and conquer. And honestly, it's much, much simpler than you might think. Let's break it down right now. Seriously, it is this straightforward. First, you take your original prompt, the one that's way over 4,000 characters. Then, you use any simple text splitter or divider tool you can find online to break it into 4 roughly equal chunks. And then, you just copy and paste each chunk into one of the 4 agent slots. That's it.
Now, hang on.
before you rush off to try this, there is one absolutely crucial detail you have to know. Because if you do this wrong, the whole system can just lock up. So let's cover how to avoid the dreaded freeze.
So here's the risk. If you just dump all that text across the 4 agents without giving them clear, distinct roles, the AI gets totally confused. It can enter this bizarre loop of endless reasoning, sometimes for as long as 20 minutes, before it just gives up and times out. It's a huge waste of time, but thankfully it is completely avoidable.
And this right here is the brilliant solution. You need to think of it like managing a small project team. You give each agent a very specific job. Agent 1 is your researcher, right? Its only job is to hold the source material. Agent 2 is your analyst. It reads that material and pulls out the key themes. Agent 3 is your writer, who drafts the response based on that analysis. And finally, Agent 4 is your editor, who comes in at the end to review, edit, and polish the final text.
And I really need to emphasize this. This is not just a best practice or a helpful suggestion. It is the only way to prevent the system from freezing. By giving each agent a clear, separate role, you create a logical workflow that the AI can actually follow without getting stuck in a loop.
All right, let's add one more really powerful trick to your toolkit. This one is all about making sure Grok remembers your core instructions for the entire conversation.
The secret is right here in this quote. The idea is to use the first message in the chat as extended memory. It's like giving the AI a permanent set of instructions it can't forget.
Here's how simple this is in practice. You take your most important, overarching instructions, your main prompt, your core data, whatever it is, and you put it all in that very first message you send. Grok is designed to consistently refer back to that initial input. That means your core context will never get lost, no matter how many follow-up questions you ask. It's like pinning a note to the very top of the entire chat.
So let's just put this all together, shall we? When you combine the 4-agent method with that crucial role assignment, and then you add this extended memory trick on top, well, you're fundamentally changing your relationship with this tool.
And that is the real takeaway here. This isn't just about getting around a silly character limit. It's about understanding the system on a much deeper level. You're no longer just a regular user typing into a box. You become an architect, a director, a true master of the system, capable of getting it to perform far more complex and powerful tasks.
You now have the tools to push way past the obvious boundaries and get so much more out of this AI. So really, the only thing left to ask is this: with all this newfound control, what limits will you break next?